Welcome to Matrix Live Season 2, Episode 9, I think. Direct from Vienna's airport, waiting for delayed flights back from the Elevate festival that we were invited to attend these last days in Graz.
We should apologise for the background noise, which I'm assuming is either amazing elevator music from the restaurant, or, of course, the staff of the restaurant where we're sitting have started to smash glasses and plates and generally clear up after lunch. So it couldn't be worse timing. So sorry for the background noise.
Do you want to say a few words about how was Elevate?
Yeah,
It was
sure.
quite an interesting show. A lot of different people.
We should probably explain what it is.
Yes.
So, a festival with both music, like young people's music, boom, 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 and political discourse, which I think might have been us, and activism in general. And they were kind enough to use Riot as the official communications app for the festival, and we had a really good time going and having workshops and panel discussions about decentralization, full stop, really.
Yeah, with all sorts of people. That was the interesting bit as well. It was absolutely not technology focused, and there were journalists and lawyers and activists in general, and it was really interesting.
Yeah, I mean, obviously something we'd love Matrix to be better used by our folks who need secure communication, especially in far-flung parts of the world. And honestly, well, Riot particularly today is much more geared up for developers and open source hackers, and your sort of typical person trying to I know there was a lady there from Brazil who was training folks in secure communication, and her target audience are clearly not technically organized at all. Trying to get to the point where it can be used by folks like that is a mission. So it was really good to basically get feedback, unfiltered feedback, shall we say, firsthand from folks there.
Yeah, it is. So talking of which, progress being done on Riot Web. Shall I start with Riot Web?
Yeah, why not?
Okay, so we're gearing up for the 0.14 release. I don't know when it's meant to be coming out.
When the bugs are closed. Although on the plus side, we are tracking the bugs.
Yeah. So there are 24 issues and 17 are closed. So it's there is a milestone progressing on GitHub. The good news is that the LeftLeftPanel, or also known as the TagPanel or GroupPanel or FilterPanel, is ready to go. So that's good. It's becoming more useful now.
It'll be turned on by default, albeit with a user setting to turn it off if you get very upset about losing some horizontal screen real estate to this thing. But we think it's great.
Yeah, it makes community much more useful. And we're still seeing major performance issues, both on CPU and RAM, but we also want to close these before the release. So still working on that side of things.
It's really annoying because we shrunk things by about 30% most of the time, but apparently somewhere along the way we've introduced another issue that meant that yesterday my Riot Web had like 700,000 room members in it, which I think is about 4 times too much even on my account. So not ideal.
Yeah. And eventually we're trying to sneak in a new workaround for UISIs, the oldest messages that are unable to be decrypted, where basically we would allow users to press a button manually to request again the keys if they're missing. So instead of just staring at it and say, how can I do? I don't know what you're saying. Just have the button, press it, and then magically it will all work.
So obviously it's a bit of a hack because you shouldn't see this in the first place. And the reason we've been avoiding putting it in for so long is we're really wanting to fix the underlying stuff. In practice, bandwidth for fixing that is stretched. Even now, we're hiring for cryptography-focused people to come and help us fix it, but we haven't got anybody yet. And in the interim, the best we can do is to put this, what we call the fudge button, that means that people can just say, it's all broken, please try again. But it does feel a little bit like the Windows 3.1 or Windows 95 era. Abort, retry, ignore. I don't know which one to press. Press them at random to see if it gets better. So it's going to be something like that temporarily, unfortunately.
And we promise that we'll still continue chasing in the meantime and not give up just because we have a workaround.
Yeah, workaround's better than nothing, but...
Yeah. Want to tell us about Synapse?
For sure, it's been another fun week in the Synapse backend side of things because we ran out of CPU on the Synapse master yet again because traffic keeps on growing. In fact, it turns out we ran out on February the 14th for the first time, and then it kept getting worse and worse every night. And to be precise, constant with West Coast America waking up almost precisely, we'd see the twisted reactor saturate on the master process for Synapse, and then get progressively behind overnight, which in general isn't that noticeable other than being a bit sluggish for normal latency, unless you're on Freenode, because it was blocking the Freenode membership changes behind the lock, which means that they could fall behind for several hours, meaning that if you're joined on the IRC side of a Freenode bridge, you can't join on the Matrix side and you can't speak there, causing a split brain bridge, which I'm sure lots of people have noticed. So we finally got to the bottom of what was going on there, but the bottom line is we just need to make Synapse go faster. So lots and lots of perf work to do that. I'm actually putting the event creator workers live and then moving more stuff into it, starting with calculating push actions, and that has in turn gone live a couple of days ago and has helped a bit. We also broke out Theseus, which is a twisted profiler, which we've used a little bit a long time ago and then stopped. I'm not entirely sure why. So I broke it out a couple of days ago and did some profiling in the middle of the night, which I found quite useful in terms of pointing out some hotspots we'd missed, like read markers, for instance, which have now been optimized with more caching. And between that and the event creators, we just about have got back in headroom as of 2 days ago. Although I noticed last night we'd lost our leads and it had caught up and saturated again. So sorry if people got bitten by that last night. So basically we're continuing on that. The next thing to be done is to move room join operations to the workers, because that's one of the heaviest things. Quarter of the Synapse master is spent doing membership changes, and if we can fork those out to workers, then that will be a big improvement. Finally, on Synapse, VDH has been working away on state resets, bumping the resolution protocol to version 2. I think we have agreement on the spec proposal for that, and he's actually been implementing it, except in practice, I think he's actually been doing lots and lots of ops stuff. Good news is that we have someone coming to focus exclusively on ops starting Monday after next, which is going to make the world a much, 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 much better place, especially for VDH. And then after all that, Synapse 27, once we've landed these perf stuff, is due to go out, and then everybody can enjoy them, assuming, of course, that you're running a Synapse with 30,000, 40,000 simultaneous users and hitting the same performance issues that we are.
Indeed. Are you continuing on Dendrites?
No, you can do Dendrite.
Okay,
I've been speaking too much.
There have been progress in the community side, thanks to Anoa and others. Basically, it's on our side, it's a bit on hold as we finish working on Synapse and until we get 0.27 out. That's right?
Yeah, absolutely. And thank you guys for keeping Dendrite alive. I was gonna mention something, but I can't remember what it was. Might have been. So I wasn't allowed on one of the panel discussions at Elevate because apparently I speak too much. And somebody was watching these the other week and said, Amandy never speaks, it's all Matthew. And I feel guilty. One of the plus sides, at least the panel at Elevate that you were on, ended up being, well, Holger, who created PyPy, of all things, was the token man on the panel. And it was very good to see the opposite of your typical tech conference where... well, suffice it to say that you're lucky if you get a token lady who someone's remembered to invite, whereas here it was the other way around. What are we talking about?
We were talking about Dendrite, that you talk too much. But it's also because you know more about the technical details of all this, so it's easier for you to get into it. Shall I continue on Riot Mobile then?
Please do. Okay. I'm also too tired to talk.
So last week we launched the new releases on both iOS and Android. I think we did post the blog post as well, or just push the releases. I'm lost. But anyway, the new releases are out. And we also shipped a quick update on iOS to fix a problem with blank groups where you couldn't see your communities, basically. So that's fixed. And we have now quick replies and notifications on the dev side only for now. Thanks to status open bounty submission from Joey Watts. So thank you for the fix.
Have you tried it?
No, because I can't install
the
dev
I've got the dev on hand though.
Okay.
Try sending me a message. Let's do a live demo thing.
It on my phone.
Yeah, but just send me a message.
Where are you? Here.
Okay, so it's like all the best demos is clearly going to work amazingly. Hopefully Amandine's going to send me a message.
I did.
You did? Okay, great. And hopefully that will come up on my iPhone, or my Apple Watch even. Of course it hasn't so far. Probably because I've got the thing open in the background. Oh, this is going to be a crap demo. I don't have net access, that's the minor reason why I'm not going to be able to receive that. Never mind. It's really cool. Basically, you get a little reply button and you can even dictate a response into your Apple Watch to respond to people on Riot. That's what we've all been waiting for.
Yes. What was Swift for support on iOS SDK was contributed and fixed by John Flanagan at Splunk.
Thank you.
Thank you, John, for this. Very useful as well.
Also seen some other Swift fixes coming in there. So if you've been dying to use the iOS SDK and Swift, now is your lucky day.
But now we're mainly into bug fixing and maintenance mode for the coming weeks. So yeah,
this is good news. No features to go and break everything. We're actually going to make it faster and better. Woo! On the integration side, sticker packs are done, pending review, which is quite complicated because it touches basically every aspect of all of Matrix. But other than the ones which are blocked on me, which is the Riot Web ones, I think we're basically good to go there. So expect them coming pretty soon. Might even sneak into 0.14, but it depends on whether Tom lets us ship them or not. And then
Master
finally,
Tom,
yes, well, that's got. Then I get confused with Mr. Tom.
Mr. Tom,
too many
Master
Tom. Master Tom sounds weird. I don't think we should call him Master Tom.
I'm not sure he would like it.
No.
Wait, sorry, Tom.
Meister Tom? Have a Game of Thrones kind of thing going on? Or, I'm going to drop this. Yeah, that's before I fall asleep.
Spec work.
Spec work, so that lots and lots of discussion of well-known URLs and discovering the home server and identity server URL for your account. Also, and less related to that, there's been the whole idea of logging in using third-party IDs. So you literally give it your email address and a password, and it does the right thing, rather than ever having to work out what your home server and identity server URLs are. Many thanks indeed to uhoreg, who has been shepherding the SHEP proposal through whilst trying to incorporate feedback from everybody in the community, which is great. And relatedly, I spent all of last Sunday writing governance docs for matrix.org, trying to establish a more open and inclusive community contribution process, looking at inspiration mainly from Rust, to be honest, who have a pretty cute setup in terms of their RFC process and how they get sign-off for new changes to the spec, which avoids there being any sort of central point of control. So exciting times there. I'm going to try working on it a bit more on the flight back to London today, and hopefully start distributing something in the coming week.
Yeah. Hopefully we can't spend too much time. Well, we have to progress on this, but at the same time, it's also meaning that all the time spent on this is not spent on fixing end-to-end crypto, for example. So we do have to be careful on how much time we spend on it. But
it is, but I'm doing it in my spare time anyway. So you're right that it is taking time from other stuff, but hopefully we have a relatively lightweight solution that will make everybody ecstatic and happy.
Good. Speaking of ecstatic and happy, if you would be ecstatic and happy to work with us, we're still hiring, but we have front-end devs still ongoing.
Yeah, definitely folks wanting Riot Web would be
crypto.
great. and crypto, definitely. I think those are the main slots remaining at this point. It's sort of, in practice, we're looking across the whole board all the time, but in terms of, oh my god, we need an ops person now kind of thing, we've got some folks in there. I think on the back-end side there might be room for 1 or 2 more folks, but it's kind of hard to say.
Yeah, because internships as well coming in, and so yeah. Anyway, get in touch and we'll see, because if there are good people around, we can always manage to find a way.
Cool. Well, thank you for listening to us in a slightly dead state, and sorry for the background noise. Hoping that the microphone here was close enough to you to pick you up.
I hope you could hear me. Sorry. I haven't projected enough. Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.